speechwriter. A speechwriter is a person who is hired to prepare and write speeches that will be delivered by another person. Speechwriters are employed by many senior-level elected officials and executives in the government and private sectors. They can also be employed to write for weddings and other social occasions. Skills and training. A speechwriter works directly with senior executives or leaders to determine what points, themes, positions, or messages the executive would like to cover. Speechwriters need to be able to accept criticism and comments on the different drafts of the speech, and be able to incorporate the proposed changes into the draft. Speechwriters have to be able to work on several different speeches at once, and manage their time so that they can meet strict deadlines for finishing the speech on time. Speechwriters must also be able to accept anonymity, because with few exceptions, speechwriters are not officially credited or acknowledged. This aspect creates a dilemma for historians and compilers of speech anthology, namely, when some poignant phrase gains popularity such as John F. Kennedy's "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Should credit be given to the president, to speechwriter Ted Sorensen, or to both? Professional speechwriter Lawrence Bernstein writes, "While there is a guild called the UK Speechwriters Guild for professional speechwriters, they do not usually have specific training in the area or field for which they are writing speeches. Instead, speechwriters often have a broad understanding of basic economics, political roles, and policy issues, which make them generalists who are able to translate complex economic and policy issues into a clear message for the general public." As with many other writing occupations, most speechwriters do not have specific training in their writing craft. Instead, speechwriters often develop their speechwriting skills by combining a general liberal arts education, for example, in political science, philosophy, or English literature, with a variety of work experience in politics, public administration, journalism, or a related field. The delivery of the speech is part of the challenge speechwriters face when crafting the message. Executive speechwriter Anthony Trendle writes, "Speechwriting process. Writing a speech involves several steps. A speechwriter has to meet with the executive and the executive's senior staff to determine the broad framework of points or messages that the executive wants to cover in the speech. Then, the speechwriter does his or her own research on the topic to flesh out this framework with anecdotes and examples. The speechwriter will also consider the audience for the speech, which can range from a town hall meeting of community leaders to an international leaders forum. Then the speechwriter blends the points, themes, positions, and messages with his or her own research to create an informative, original and authentic speech for the executive. The speechwriter then presents a draft version of the speech to the executive, or the executive's staff, and makes notes on any revisions or changes that are requested. If the speechwriter is familiar with the topic and the positions and style of the executive, only small changes may be needed. In other cases, the executive may feel that the speech does not have the right tone or flow, and the entire speech may have to be redrafted. Notable speechwriters. Some notable political speechwriters include Bangladesh, Australia, Europe, Nigeria, United States. Fictional speechwriters. Some fictional speechwriters include James Hobart, speechwriter for the fictional mayor of New York City Randall Winston on Spin City. Toby Ziegler, Sam Seaborn and later on, Will Bailey all wrote for the Bartlett administration on The West Wing. Other fictional characters that are speechwriters include Violet Evergarden from the anime, Violet Evergarden, who wrote for any client who requested her through the CH Postal Company or any client who requested her by other means.